Good evening, members of council, guests and staff in attendance, and those watching from home. For those that do not know me, my name is Todd Schrader, and I'm not sure where to look. I am the law director of the city. I am going to get the meeting kicked off tonight until we have the election of the mayor and the vice mayor. And once that person is seated, whomever it may be, that person will take over at that point for the balance of the meeting. So let's all stand, please, for a moment of silence, followed by the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
At this time, I would ask Councilman Klaus and Councilman Hagee to come to the middle, and I will administer the oath of office for council.
Yeah, I figured we'd do that at the next meeting.
And repeat after me.
Yeah.
I solemnly swear or affirm
solemnly swear or affirm
that I will support the Constitution
that I will support the Constitution
of the United States and the state of Ohio,
of the United States and the state of Ohio,
and will obey the laws thereof,
and will obey the laws thereof,
and that I will, in all respects,
and that I will in all respects
uphold and enforce the provisions of the Charter
uphold and enforce the provisions of the Charter
and ordinances of this city,
and ordinance of this city,
and will faithfully discharge the duties
and will faithfully discharge the duties
of council member for the city of Huron,
of council member for the city of Huron,
upon which I am about to enter.
upon which I am about to enter.
Congratulations. Welcome back. Okay, this time we will take a roll call, please.
Middlecombe,
Here.
Artino,
Here.
Claus,
Here.
Tapp, Dyke, Reeves,
Here.
Peggy,
Here.
Excuse them.
We hold off on entertaining motions to excuse absences until after we have mayor and vice mayor elections, and at that point we will entertain motions to excuse. Next on the agenda is the appointment of the council clerk for a term of 2 years. We'll entertain
Mr. Law Director,
Yes, Councilman Klaus.
I make a motion to appoint Terry Welkner as the clerk of council for a term of 2 years.
Thank you, Mr. Klaus. Any questions or discussion on the motion? Roll call, please.
Claus,
Yes.
Reeves,
Yes.
Peggy,
Yes.
Middlecombe,
Yes.
Artino,
Yes.
Congratulations.
Yeah, we have a picture, you have that.
Raise your right hand and repeat after me. I solemnly swear and affirm
I solemnly swear and affirm
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
and the state of Ohio,
and the state of Ohio,
and will obey the laws thereof,
and will obey the laws thereof,
and that I will, in all respects,
and that I will, in all respects,
uphold and enforce the provisions of the Charter
uphold and enforce the provisions of the Charter
and ordinances of this city,
and ordinances of the city,
and will faithfully discharge the duties of clerk of council
and will faithfully discharge the duties of clerk of council
for the city of Huron,
for the city of Huron,
upon which I am about to enter.
upon which I am about to enter.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you.
Okay, next, at this time, we are going to entertain nominations for the position of mayor. The way we will address this is I will ask for nominations for the position of mayor. And once the nominations are presented, we will entertain a motion to close the nominations to cut off this part of the agenda. Thereafter, a roll will be taken to close the nominations, and we'll vote on nominees in the order in which the candidates are presented in the nominations. Of course, the first person to 4 votes for each office, mayor and vice mayor, will win, and we'll repeat the same process for the vice mayor.
3 votes since we don't have 5.
No, 4 votes.
It's still going to be 4.
Still has to be 4. Yes, good question. So at this point, we will entertain nominations for the position of mayor.
Mr. Schrader.
Yes, Councilman Martino.
Mr. Schrader, this council and administration have worked diligently in the last few years to help enhance the quality of life and economic stability of our community. And that doesn't come easy. It comes with planning, teamwork, and collaboration. The collaboration really is between us and the private sector and the public sector. And I'll give you an example. Of the private sector is, for example, the Chamber of Commerce and corporations and small businesses. We would have a difficult time, getting to where we're at today if we didn't work with those organizations and many others. But most importantly, it's the citizens of this community. We have created this leadership here has created an environment that encourages input and involvement from organizations and from our citizens. The next part of collaboration is with the private sector or the public sector. I'm sorry, public sector, which is I like to say one group that we have been very successful working with is the township trustees and the citizens in the township. I think everybody here will agree the city wouldn't be what it is today without their help. To create that environment of teamwork and collaboration, it takes leadership and a lot of dedication. And I think that 3 pages of accomplishments in the last 2 years have proven that this organization has been led by a person that is very capable, very dedicated, for sure. So therefore, I'd like to nominate Monty Tapp for re-election to mayor.
Thank you, Councilman Martino. Any other nominations from members of council? Hearing none, we will entertain a motion to close the nominations, please, for position of mayor.
Mr. Schrader, I'll move that we close nominations for mayor.
Thank you, Councilman Biddlecombe. Any questions or comments on the motion? Roll call, please.
Biddlecombe?
Yes.
Martino?
Yes.
Claus?
Yes.
Reeves?
Yes.
Peggy?
Yes.
Normally, at this time, we would undertake to administer the oath of office to now Mayor-elect Monty. Oh, excuse me.
Yeah, we were just closing them.
Oh, excuse me.
Not yet.
Well, I know how this is going to go. We will entertain a motion to elect Monty Tapp as mayor of the city of Huron for a term of 2 years. Entertain a motion.
Mr. Schrader, I make a motion to elect Monty Tapp, mayor of the city of Huron.
Thank you, Councilman Martino. Any questions or comments on the motion? Roll call, please.
Martino?
Yes.
Claus?
Yes.
Reeves?
Yes.
Peggy?
Yes.
Biddlecombe?
Yes.
Thank you. and I apologize for being slightly out of order. At this point, we would normally administer the oath. Mayor-elect Tapp, unfortunately, he is out tonight due to illness, so we will administer the oath to the mayor at our next earliest opportunity. At this time, I will entertain nominations for the position of vice mayor.
Mr. Schrader.
Yes,
I
Councilman
don't
Middleton.
have a speech like Sam, but I would like to nominate Mr. Mark Klaus as vice mayor.
Thank you, Councilman Biddlecombe, for nominating Councilman Mark Klaus for vice mayor. Any other nominations from council? Hearing none, we'll entertain a motion to close the nominations, please. For vice mayor.
Schrader, I make a motion to close the nomination.
Thank you, Councilman Hagee. Any questions on the motion to close the nominations? Roll call, please.
Hagee,
Yes.
Middlecombe.
Yes.
Martino,
Yes.
Claus,
Yes.
Reeves,
Yes.
Thank you. Next, we'll entertain a motion to elect Councilman Mark Klaus as Vice Mayor of the City of Huron for a term of 2 years.
Mr. Schrader.
Yes, Councilman Biddlecombe.
I move that we elect Mr. Mark Klaus as vice mayor for a term of 2 years.
Thank you, Councilman Biddlecombe. Any questions or comments on the motion? Roll call, please.
Middlecombe.
Yes.
Martino.
Yes.
Claus,
Yes.
Reeves,
Yes.
Hagee.
Yes.
And Vice Mayor Klaus, if you could step down and we'll administer the oath, please.
Need for approval of minutes. When do we need for approval of minutes?
And repeat after me. I solemnly swear and affirm
I solemnly swear and affirm
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
and the state of Ohio,
and the state of Ohio,
and will obey the laws thereof,
and will obey the laws thereof,
and that I will, in all respects,
and that I will, in all respects,
uphold and enforce the provisions of the Charter
uphold and enforce the provisions of the Charter
and ordinances of this city,
and ordinance of this city,
and will faithfully discharge the duties of Vice Mayor
and will faithfully discharge duties of Vice Mayor
for the City of Huron,
for the City of Huron,
upon which I am about to enter.
upon which I am about to enter.
Congratulations. Okay, at this point, I think it's most appropriate for Vice Mayor Klaus to conduct the balance of the meeting. And right before the approval of minutes, I recommend this would be the appropriate time to entertain motions to excuse council members that are not present tonight.
Vice Mayor,
Mr. Artino.
I move to excuse Mr. Tapp and Mr. Dyke from tonight's meeting.
Any questions on the motion? Roll call.
Martino,
Yes.
Claus,
Yes.
Reeves,
Yes.
Hagee.
Yes.
Middlecombe.
Yes.
Thank you. Next on our agenda then is approval of minutes.
Mr. Vice Mayor,
Mr. Biddlecombe.
I move that we approve the minutes of the regular council meeting of October 4th, 2023 as written.
October.
Or October 24th, 2023. Sorry about
Thank
that.
you. Any questions on that motion? Roll call.
Middlecombe.
Yes.
Martino,
Yes.
Claus,
Yes.
Reeves,
Abstain.
Hagee.
Yes.
Okay, so that's approved. The next section is audience comments. Citizens may address their concerns to City Council. Please state your name and address for the recorded journal, and there is a 3-minute time limit.
Hi, I'm Robin Garland. I think a lot of you know me already, although not face to face. I live at 218 Ohio Street. I just came tonight because I'm really troubled by some of the comments that were made at the last meeting, because I think largely there's a lot of misunderstanding about why people are upset about the Oster's property. And as far as myself is concerned, I think all of you know through communications and Facebook and what have you, that I wasn't a fan of what happened or what transpired. But the night of the meeting, when the people from the trailer, I don't want to call it a trailer park, I don't think that's appropriate anymore, but you know what I mean, forward and spoke. And then you guys had to go into private session and what have you, and you came back and you voted. I realized that nothing was going to change then. Things were going to move forward. All to proceed as if you're defensive or you're angry with people because they communicate about it. Because I can tell you, I never got the impression you didn't care. What I did get the impression of was maybe you all didn't take the time to think through this. And I'll give grace for that. I'm saying, please don't be defensive. Please don't be angry with the citizens. You want them involved. You've got to be willing to hear their voices and make sure it doesn't happen like this again.
They get taken care of, as we are. If you have any other questions, definitely if you have any questions about the details of what's going on and where we are, definitely touch base with City Manager Matt Lesko. He is intimately involved and has talked to every one of these residents on multiple occasions and knows all the details of where people have gone and where they, how they've gotten help. And we're down to the last couple here. Thank you. Old business, moving on.
May have more.
Oh, I'm sorry. Oh, sorry, Tom. Thanks.
Tom
Come on.
Harris, 105 Wheeler.
Come on up.
Ms. Garland, it's actually very awesome to meet you in person. Thank you for coming. That's actually the biggest part, is getting in here and actually saying something. Basically, I just wanted to say congratulations, guys, for your re-elections. And then, again, I wanted to say thank you for coming, because I had some interactions on Facebook, and it's good to see you here.
I'm blunt, but I'm harmless.
Hey, I think that's okay. That's okay. That's all I had to say, guys.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Yeah, and to Tom's point, we, again, like we've said, we appreciate when people come in, and we definitely don't want people to get the impression that if you come in and speak, someone's going to jump all over you by any means. No. I hope you don't have that impression.
No.
Okay.
No, I've talked to Matt.
Yeah.
I don't feel that way at all. Might have opinions.
Yeah.
Don't feel.
We may not always agree. Sure. Thank you. So, are we ready to move on, Terry? Okay, thank you. Any other audience comments? Old business, ordinance number 2023-39.
Mr. Vice Mayor,
Mr. Greaves.
I make a motion placing ordinance number 2023-39 on its third and final reading.
We need a roll call on the motion for third reading.
Greaves?
Yes.
Eggy?
Yes.
Whittlecombe?
Yes.
Martino?
Yes.
Claus?
Yes. Mr. Schrader.
Thank you, Mr. Vice Mayor. This is ordinance number 203-39. An ordinance amending and restating paragraph B under section 163.04, paid holidays, of Chapter 163 Employment Provisions and declaring an emergency.
Mr. Vice Mayor,
Mr. Greaves.
I make a motion placing ordinance number 2023-39 as an emergency.
Thank you. Any questions on the emergency? Roll call, please.
Reeves,
Yes.
Hagee,
Yes.
Fiddlecombe,
Yes.
Martino,
Yes.
Claus,
Yes. Mr. Lasko.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Vice Mayor. Just a reminder what this legislation has to deal with. When we first presented this 2 meetings ago, we were trying to address the issue of when Christmas Eve and Christmas and subsequently New Year's Eve and New Year's Day fall on Sundays and Mondays. When that happens once every 7 years, we would typically take a half day on Monday and a full day on Tuesday. We did not think that made much sense to come in for a half day when a lot of people are going to use vacation. Secondarily, taking off Tuesday would impact the regularly scheduled council meeting. So what we're proposing to do when that happens moving forward is we would have a half day on Friday and a full day on Monday for both sets of those holidays. Subsequently, at the last meeting, based on the research by SSEG, we also determined our code is quiet to what happens when those holidays respectively fall on Fridays and Saturdays. So what we're also proposing through the amendment that was at last meeting is that we would observe a half day on Thursday and a full day on Friday. So that's the amendment that was made at last meeting. So with that, I'm happy to answer any questions.
Any questions from council? Final adoption?
Reeves,
Yes.
Hagee,
Yes.
Fiddlecombe,
Yes.
Martino,
Yes.
Claus,
Yes. Okay, moving on. Ordinance number 2023-40.
Mr. Vice Mayor,
Mr. Biddlecombe.
I move that ordinance 2023-40 be placed on its third and final reading.
Okay, roll call on the third reading.
Fiddlecombe,
Yes.
Martino,
Yes.
Claus,
Yes.
Reeves,
Yes.
Hagee,
Yes.
Thank you. Mr. Schrader.
Thank you, Mr. Vice Mayor. This is ordinance number 2023-40, an ordinance amending the official zoning map of the city of Huron to reflect the rezoning of approximately 0.5597 acres of land owned by Jan Wesky Buchholz, located on the north side of Cleveland Road, Erie County, Ohio, permanent parcel numbers 43-00306.000, 43-00305.000, and 43-00307.000 from the current R1A one family residence district to B3 general business and declaring an emergency.
Mr. Vice Mayor,
Yes, Mr. Biddlecombe.
I move that ordinance number 2023-40 be placed as an emergency measure.
Any questions on the emergency? Roll call?
Fiddlecombe,
Yes.
Martino,
Yes.
Claus,
Yes.
Reeves,
Yes.
Hagee,
Yes.
Mr. Lasko.
Thank you, Mr. Vice Mayor. I'll step in the absence of Mr. Engel this evening. With this being our third and final reading, our planning department's been working with the new owners of Lemmy's over the last couple months who are planning some pretty significant alterations and improvements to that site. With that in mind, given that it's legal non-conforming, we thought the best course of action was to do a zoning change for what more adequately fits what is there and what is planned. So what is being proposed is to rezone the property from R1A single family to B3 general business. This has been heard and recommended to council by the Planning Commission as well. So with that, I'm happy to answer any questions.
Thank you. Any questions from council? Hearing none. Final adoption?
Fiddlecombe,
Yes.
Martino,
Yes.
Claus,
Yes.
Reeves,
Yes.
Hagee,
Yes.
Okay, next ordinance number 2023-42.
Mayor,
Mr. Heggie.
move ordinance number 2023-42 be placed on second reading.
Thank you. Roll call on second reading, please.
Hagee,
Yes.
Fiddlecombe,
Yes.
Martino,
Yes.
Claus,
Yes.
Reeves,
Yes.
Mr. Schrader.
Thank you, Mr. Vice Mayor. This is ordinance number 2023-42. An ordinance to approve the form and authorize the execution of the 2004-2028 landfill energy schedule with American Municipal Power, Inc., and taking of other actions in connection therewith regarding landfill-generated energy purchases.
So this is just a second reading. Oh, Mr. Hamilton, I'm sorry.
Thank you, Mr. Vice Mayor. This is the second reading on a 60-month contract to buy landfill generated electric from the Erie County, through AMP from the Erie County Waste Management. This is for 300 kilowatts. It will replace an existing contract of the same amount. The amount per megawatt went up $5 for this contract, which is a pretty good stable price considering the price of electric right now.
Thank you. Any questions for Mr. Hamilton on this second reading? That's it. Thank you. So that was just a second reading, so we'll move on to ordinance number 2023-45.
Mr. Mayor,
Mr. Biddlecombe.
I move that ordinance number 2023-45 be placed on its second reading.
Thank you. Roll call on the second reading.
Biddlecombe?
Yes.
Martino?
Yes.
Laws?
Yes.
Reeves?
Yes.
Heggie?
Yes.
Thank you, Mr. Schrader.
Thank you, Mr. Vice Mayor. This is ordinance number 2023-45. An ordinance amending Chapter 501, General Provisions and Penalty of the Huron Codified Ordinances to add a new section 501.13, Criminal Activity as a Nuisance, User Charge for Excessive Consumption of Public Services.
Thank you, Mr. Schrader. Chief Graham? And if you want to address 44 and 45 same time like we did last time.
Good evening, Mr. Vice Mayor. Good evening, members of council. First, congratulations, Councilman Hagee, Councilman Claus, on your reelection. This is the second reading of the excessive use of public safety services. We had much discussion on this last time. Again, on the surface, this ordinance holds property owners accountable for their residents that occupy these places. But when you really dig down deeper into this, it's to provide those residents that live next to and around these places the standard of living I think that we all expect and demand. And I think that should be always the vision of the city, is to provide a high standard of life around these places. This is not a revenue generating ordinance. This is what our goal. That's the end that can happen. But we have many layers in this ordinance that we're trying to get compliance with people. And so this is just one more tool for the city to use to gain compliance.
Thank you. Any further questions of Chief Graham from council on 45? So that was just a second reading. So we'll move on to ordinance number 2023-44.
Mr. Vice Mayor,
Mr. Biddlecombe.
I move that ordinance number 2023-44 be placed on its second reading.
Thank you. Roll call on the second reading.
Biddlecombe?
Yes.
Martino?
Yes.
Laws?
Yes.
Reeves?
Yes.
Heggie?
Yes.
Mr. Schrader.
Thank you, Mr. Vice Mayor. This is ordinance number 2023-44, an ordinance amending Chapter 909, Assessments of the Huron Codified Ordinances to add a new section 909.04, Criminal Activity as a Nuisance, Excess Consumption of Public Resources.
Thank you. Anything further, Mr. Graham or Chief Graham?
Just like to add this section goes in concert with the excessive use of public safety services. This will provide the city to have assessments toward the person on record with the auditor's office on these properties that meet the requirements of the law.
And I just thought of one quick question. I think we talked about it the last time, but this is not only for police services, but this could apply to life safety services, fire department, EMS as well, right?
Correct. Correct, Mr. Vice Mayor. This is law enforcement. This is fire. This is squad. This could be zoning.
Okay. Thank you. Any other questions? Okay, thank you, Chief Graham. We will move on to resolution number 71, 2023. Oh, that's you too.
That one was mine.
Oh, I had Sam.
I can do it.
Oh, go ahead.
Mr. Mayor, or Vice Mayor,
Yes.
I move that resolution number 71-2023 be placed on its third and final reading.
Questions on or roll call on the third reading, please.
Fiddlecombe,
Yes.
Martino,
Yes.
Claus,
Yes.
Reeves,
Yes.
Peggy.
Yes.
Thank you, Mr. Schrader.
Thank you, Mr. Vice Mayor. This is resolution number 71-2023, a resolution authorizing the automatic one-year renewal of an agreement with the Erie County Sheriff for the provision of emergency dispatch services to the city of Huron for an amount not to exceed $102,132.82 for the agreement renewal term of January 1, 2024 through December 31, 2024.
Thank you. Is this an emergency or?
No, it's a res.
Okay. Oh, I'm sorry. Yep. Thank you. So any questions? Chief Graham, this is your resolution. Any comments?
This is for our dispatch services with the Erie County Sheriff's Office. There are no increases from our 23 to our 24 contracts. It's the same prices from 23 to 24.
Thank you. Any questions for Chief Graham from council? Final adoption?
Fiddlecombe,
Yes.
Martino,
Yes.
Claus,
Yes.
Reeves,
Yes.
Peggy.
Yes.
Thank you, Chief. Okay, resolution number 72-2023.
Mr. Vice Mayor,
Mr. Artino.
I move to place resolution number 71-20, resolution number 72-2023 on its third and final reading.
Thank you. Roll call on the third reading.
Martino,
Yes.
Claus,
Yes.
Reeves,
Yes.
Peggy.
Yes.
Fiddlecombe,
Yes.
Mr. Schrader.
Thank you, Mr. Vice Mayor. Resolution number 72-2023, a resolution authorizing the city manager to make an annual premium payment to the Bureau of Workers' Compensation for the policy period January 1, 2024 through January 1, 2025, in an amount not to exceed $51,152.
Lasco.
Thank you, Mr. Vice Mayor. This is just to make our annual premium payment to the Bureau of Workers' Comp. The amount for 2024 is $51,152. That is actually a 4% reduction from the premium last year, which was $53,280. I do want to remind council that the city will also receive a 2% premium refund of just over $1,000 if we do make the payment in full before the end of the year, which we will look to do.
Thank you. Any questions for Lasco? Questions on this ordinance from council? Hearing none, final adoption.
Martino,
Yes.
Claus,
Yes.
Reeves,
Yes.
Peggy.
Yes.
Fiddlecombe,
Yes.
Thank you. New business. Moving on. Resolution number 83-2023. I make a motion that resolution number 83-2023 be placed on its first reading and the three reading rule be waived. So, motion or roll call on the three reading rule.
Claus,
Yes.
Reeves,
Yes.
Peggy.
Yes.
Fiddlecombe,
Yes.
Martino,
Yes.
Thank you, Mr. Schrader.
Thank you, Mr. Vice Mayor. This is resolution number 83-2023. A resolution authorizing the city manager to enter into a memorandum of understanding between the American Federation of State, County, and Municipal Employees, also known as AFSCME, and the City of Huron, modifying Section 17.02 of the current AFSCME collective bargaining agreement, expiring on December 31, 2024, as it relates to Section 163.04B of the Huron Codified Ordinances clarifying observance of the Christmas Eve and New Year's Eve holidays.
Thank you. Mr. Lasko.
Thank you, Mr. Vice Mayor. This is really a companion piece to ordinance number 2023-39 that we approved on final reading this evening. The AFSCME bargaining unit observes the same holidays as the administration, so we needed to do a memorandum of understanding as relates to the bargaining unit contract specific to AFSCME so that they will follow the same days off that we just approved this evening. Again, this will be a one-year MOU effectively because when the code is changed and we do new contracts next year, they will follow these changes. So again, this is just to make sure AFSCME gets the same days off that the administration will this year and moving forward.
Thank you. Any questions, council? Final adoption?
Claus,
Yes.
Reeves,
Yes.
Peggy,
Yes.
Middlecombe,
Yes.
Martino,
Yes.
Moving on, resolution number 84-2023.
Mayor,
Mr. Artino.
I move to dispense with the three reading rule and place resolution number 84-2023 on its first reading.
Thank you. Roll call on the three reading rule.
Martino,
Yes.
Claus,
Yes.
Reeves,
Yes.
Peggy,
Yes.
Middlecombe,
Yes.
Thank you. Mr. Schrader.
Thank you, Mr. Vice Mayor. This is resolution number 84-2023. A resolution authorizing the city manager to enter into an agreement with Shepherd's Shoreline Construction for the provision of demolition, land clearing, and rough grading services at the Oster's Mobile Home Park property in an amount not to exceed $75,000.
Velasco.
Thank you, Mr. Vice Mayor. As we all know, my authority from an expense standpoint is capped at $25,000. So what we're effectively looking to do with this legislation is to get blanket authority up to $75,000 to complete the remainder of the demolition work on site. This is specific to really structural removal of what is remaining. I do want to mention, ultimately, likely in the spring, we will need to return to the site to do what I would call sort of final grading and seeding, dead tree removal, utility pole removal, et cetera. But this will cover the first $75,000 of that work. Really 99% of these expenses are ultimately not going to the contractor. They're basically for the cost of dumpster removal through barns and Erie County landfill fees. The contractor is only charging $1 per trailer removal as part of the contract. I do want to remind council and the public that 100% of these expenses are reimbursed through the Erie County Land Reutilization Corporation, also known as Erie County Land Bank. So the city will be returned all expenses related to this contract.
Thank you. Any questions, Mr. Artino?
Does this include the demolition of the brick structure of the home?
Through you, Mr. Vice Mayor, to Mr. Artino, we anticipate that the duplex in the middle of the property will likely fall under this $75,000. We do need to, and we've signed a contract for just under $5,000 to do the asbestos removal. There's about 600 linear feet of window glazing that we contracted with Mad Cleaning out of Sandusky to do. That will also be reimbursed through the land bank, but we're hopeful that this will fall under the $75,000 cap here.
Otherwise, we'll have to come back for
We'd do
some additional.
We'd request a contract amendment if necessary.
Thank you. Any other questions? Hearing none, I guess final adoption.
Martino,
Yes.
Claus,
Yes.
Reeves,
Yes.
Peggy,
Yes.
Middlecombe,
Yes.
Thank you. City manager's discussion.
Thank you, Mr. Vice Mayor, members of council, those in the audience, those watching at home. I will be very brief this evening since we just met a handful of days ago. I too want to extend additional congratulations to Councilman Tapp, Councilman Claus, and Councilman Haggie again for the reappointment. I also want to congratulate Mr. Tapp and Mr. Claus for the mayor and vice mayor appointments as well. Look forward to additional years moving forward on everything we're working with. I do want to make one statement as well as relates to some historical ongoing litigation the city was a party to. The City of Huron's insurance carrier has settled the Hinners lawsuit to end a lengthy legal process and avoid any additional costs. The settlement with Stacy and Jason Hinners is not an admission of fault or guilt in any matter and is not a judgment per se against the city. The settlement costs are covered by our insurance carrier and will have no impact on city budget. After more than 4 years of legal proceedings, it did become evident that entering into this settlement agreement was the best course of action for our city, our taxpayers, and our residents, and we are relieved to put this matter behind us. And just lastly, I do want to remind everyone, Winterfest tomorrow. Events start at 12:30 with the parade. We will also, for the first time in a long time, have a tree lighting ceremony at 6:15. I don't know if Mr. Tapp will make it tomorrow, so Mr. Claus, you may be filling in if you're able.
Text me the speech.
The tree lighting ceremony will happen at 6:15, and that will immediately be followed by fireworks at 6:30. I do think Mr. Biddlecombe at our last meeting did a great job of thanking our Parks and Recreation staff, and not just our Parks and Recreation staff, everyone that's involved in putting this event together in terms of just the army of volunteers. So again, kudos to everyone that is pulling off that event, and it looks like the weather is hopefully going to hold off for us all. So that really concludes my short remarks. I'm happy to answer any questions.
Any questions for Mr. Lasko? Okay, thank you. For mayor's discussion, I don't have much. I want to also congratulate Mr. Haggie and Mr. Tapp on being elected to council again this year, and Mr. Tapp for his appointment as mayor. Thank you for the rest of the council for your votes and your confidence in me as vice mayor and electing me vice mayor again. Really have enjoyed my time working with council. I think we've got a great group here and with staff, and look forward to another 2 years at least in keeping moving forward with everything that we've got going on. And that's really it. I hope Mr. Tapp is feeling better. If not, I'll have him text me his speech for tomorrow night. So that's all I have for the good of the order. Mr. Haggie.
No, sir, I have nothing for the good of the order.
Mr. Greaves.
I have nothing for good of the order.
Mr. Artino.
I do. I'd like to
Mr.
congratulate the newly reelected council members on a great election, and the folks that ran. I really, I think that's what makes the city so great, is we have people that do get involved. So congratulations to you folks as well. I would like to comment, Ms. Garland. If I came across as defensive, I apologize to anybody that took it that way. I can tell you my frustration isn't with comments that are made by our citizens, because I've been on council for a while, and I learned from the positive and the negative comments. So I welcome comments, as bad as they could be, and believe me, I've had some bad ones directed at councils, right, Joel? But my frustration comes with, and I'm going to be honest with you, this didn't have to happen. About 10 years ago, I went on a tour of that facility because I was so frustrated with what the state had done by taking away any authority that not only the city but the county health department had to really create a much better environment there. That went on for 8 years until they made a decision to do away with that policy. And I got to watch how I say this because obviously it was mismanagement. That's what I'm frustrated with. And I aggressively argued against doing what we did 10 years ago. It took a lot. And I think not just myself, but other council members to make this decision. That's what frustrates me. This didn't have to happen. But after it just deteriorated to such a unsafe condition that the city had to take action. And that was my final, that's where, when I saw it for myself, I saw a shed with a power cord, an extension cord going into it. And apparently somebody was living in there. Okay. So I apologize if I personally, I can't speak for anybody else, but if I came across as defensive, I didn't mean it. But I do mean that I am frustrated. But as far as I'm concerned, I think the results came out the best they could for the situation we were in. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Billicombe.
I'd like to thank you again for coming. I appreciate our conversations we've had online. It's nice to meet in person. I'm glad that you stay involved and are watching the meetings at home when you can't be here. Paying attention. I think you were the one who suggested that I add in the specific legislations in my Facebook posts. I started doing that. So we want to get everyone involved. We want to make sure they're here if they can be, because like Mark said, not everyone has Facebook. That can't be the primary way we get information out. So there's other ways. So please, everyone watching at home, stay involved as much as possible.
I mean, I'm just going to be honest. It's a nightmare. I can never find anything.
Yeah, the new website's going to be.
I'm definitely looking forward to the new website.
Yes. I think it will help because online is a lot of the community. A lot of the community.
Yeah, even people who aren't on Facebook per se still access information regularly online through websites, etc. So I think that will be a big bonus for us as well. And it should be coming soon. Ish. Thank you.
I'd also like to congratulate Mr. Hagee, Mr. Klaus, Mr. Tapp, and Mrs. Welkner on your reappointments. And I'd like to comment. It's hard to believe that I've been on council now 2 years. I'm midterm. It feels like I just sat down here yesterday, but it comes at you fast. Really the whole first year I felt like I was just learning. So it's nice to have been able to get more involved now that I kind of got some time under my belt here. But reminder, the Salvation Army is still looking for bell ringers, and you can contact Lori Utzi at 614-975-3998. Looking forward to seeing everyone at Winterfest tomorrow. Look for me in the parade towing the Riverfest float again this year. And reminder, the boys basketball is playing at home tonight, girls basketball at home tomorrow. Come out and support our local events, programs, and student athletes, and go Tigers.
Thank you. So no executive sessions tonight. Make a motion or entertain a motion to adjourn.
Mr. Vice Mayor.
Mr. Billicombe.
I move that we adjourned tonight's meeting.
Roll call, please.
Biddlecombe?
Yes.
Martino?
Yes.
Claus?
Yes.
Greaves?
Yes.
Hagee?
Yes.
Thank you, everyone.
Thanks.